Hello everyone, we are Team Membrane Water, and we would like you to meet Ty. Ty is an elder from the Akwam community. This small indigenous community is situated on the Alberta-BC border. Earlier this year we visited this community to learn all about its drinking water challenges. During one of the several presentations, Ty got up and said something very powerful, something that shook us to the core. He said, "When I was 10 years old, people like you would come to my community and promise to provide us with clean drinking water. I am 60 years old now, and people like you are still coming to my community and promising us to provide us with clean drinking water. Over the past 50 years, people like you have come and gone, but my community still hasn't gotten any clean drinking water." Ty's story is very representative of most of the indigenous communities in Canada. Water treatment infrastructure is either non-existent or unreliable. As a result, boil water advisories tend to remain in effect, and during certain times of the year, these communities are even forced to rely on bottled water. Luckily, there are technologies available which can treat very dirty water to very high standards. Membranes are one such technology. They are an amazing way to clean water to very high standards. The Hult Prize Challenge points this out well. It says membrane filtration technologies are a promising way to create more drinkable water. Sadly, membranes have some limitations. To better understand these limitations, it is important to understand how membranes work. Membranes can basically be imagined to be plastic surfaces with tiny pores on them. Under the action of pumping, raw water is pushed through these pores. Water molecules, being small in size, pass through, while contaminants, being large in size, are retained behind. The pores are so small they can remove the tiniest of the contaminants, including viruses. Over time, these contaminants start to plug the membrane pores and must be removed from the surfaces of the membranes. In conventional membrane systems, this is done once every half hour using pumps, chemicals, air blowers, etc. That is where the problem sets in. All of the pumping and use of chemicals and pressurized air makes these systems very costly to build and operate. These systems also require very large amounts of energy to run, and most importantly, membrane systems being so complex require highly skilled operators. And therefore, conventional membrane systems, while being an amazing way to clean water, are not an ideal solution for remote communities. Our goal is to provide indigenous communities with high-quality membrane-filtered water. While developing potential solutions to provide these communities with membrane-filtered water, we were very certain about three things. Firstly, we were not going to make any compromises on water quality. The treated water that comes out of our system should be as high quality as a conventional membrane system. Secondly, we want to keep the cost and energy requirements as low as possible. Lastly, we want to develop a solution that is very simple to operate, so any regular water treatment operator available in the community is able to operate our system. And with these objectives in mind, we have developed what's called a passive membrane filtration system. This system is the same as conventional membrane systems, with two major differences. Firstly, to push raw water through the membranes, the system makes use of gravity, as against pumping. Secondly, to clean the membranes, the tool we use is again gravity. We use gravity to push some treated water in the reverse direction through the membranes. This lifts off most of the retained contaminants. Then, to remove the most minute and sticky particles, we make use of microorganisms. The microorganisms we use occur naturally in the water sources. We do not seed our system with any particular culture of microbes. As a result, these passive membrane filtration systems are able to treat water to very high standards, without any fancy pumps or chemicals or air blowers. This greatly brings down both initial and capital costs, as well as operations and maintenance costs. In fact, a quick comparison would show how stark the difference is. The initial setup cost of a conventional membrane system to provide water to a community of 500 people is $130,000. For our system, the cost is only $55,000, less than half. Similarly, the operations and maintenance cost for a conventional system that provides water to 500 people is $45,000 per year, while our system, it is only $5,000 per year. And finally, to do this gravity-based cleaning, all we need to do is open and close a few taps. Very easy to operate. We are not saying this is a silver bullet. This system has limitations. If we are using gravity to push water through the membranes, there is only so much water that we can push. The net quantity of water produced by the system is low as compared to conventional systems, but that's okay, because using this system we are only trying to provide water to remote indigenous communities of a few hundred people, not a city of 1 million people. We have set up a pilot plant based on this technology on Cypress Mountain in West Vancouver. The plant has been running exceptionally well for the past 8 months. We are now in the process of setting up a second pilot plant based on this technology in a small indigenous community on Vancouver Island. The water produced by this second plant would actually be used for potable purposes by the members of the community. This project has gained a lot of traction over the last few months. Major news agencies including the CBC, BNN, Huffington Post, Hindustan Times, among others have covered and interviewed us. We have also received major support from INAC, Indigenous and Northern Affairs Canada. INAC is the biggest funding source for remote communities to get any kind of infrastructure, including water treatment infrastructure, and INAC believes our technology has a lot of potential. They have provided us with the support to set up our second pilot plant in the remote Indigenous community on Vancouver Island. What's next for us? We have taken our technology from lab scale to pilot scale. How do we now take it to the market? Who would the target customers be? Who would our competitors be? Is there someone we want to collaborate with? How would we market our product? How would we mass produce? What are the regulatory approvals we shall need? What's the timeline we are looking at? Canada has more than 3,000 Indigenous reserves. BC is home to 316 non-urban reserves. Today, as can be viewed on the website watertoday.ca, out of these 316, 314 communities are on a boil water advisory. All of these are potential customers. Why can't we help these communities come out of these underdeveloped conditions? Can we target to put our water treatment system in at least 50% of these Indigenous communities? The way things currently work in Canada is that Indigenous communities have a consulting company they exclusively work with, much like we have a lawyer or a family doctor. When the community wants a new infrastructure or an upgrade to an existing infrastructure, they talk to this consulting company they work with. The company helps them prepare funding proposals to be sent to INAC, and once INAC approves the funding, the consulting company undertakes the design and construction. Consulting companies order stuff like membranes or pumps or blowers from vendors they work with. We want to position ourselves as a vendor selling a product to consulting firms. We will develop partnerships and ties with consulting firms so they start recommending the use of our product. The second thing we are doing right now, which is proving to be very effective, is to approach communities directly, show them how product is so much more superior to our competitors, so much better for their needs, and so they start asking their consulting firms for our product. Lastly, again something that we are doing is to approach INAC, show them how our product is uniquely suited to meet the needs of Indigenous communities, so they start recommending our product to communities as well as the consulting companies. In order to market ourselves, what we intend to do is showcase our product on a lot of trade shows and conferences. This would help us gain traction. It would be an ideal opportunity to market to consultants as well as to INAC and the end user. The second marketing strategy that we intend to adopt is to set up at least 5 pilot plants across Canada. Once the communities, the consulting firms, and INAC see our product work, they would want it. Lastly, we intend to continue to do video interviews with major news channels so as to gain wide publicity. As we talked about before, consulting firms have vendors from which they order equipment. These vendors, or so-called system integrators, are our competition. Some names that come to mind are BI Pure Water and H2O Innovation. We intend to fend off this competition by means of our price point, which after a healthy profit margin would be the lowest in the market segment. It is also by means of strong marketing campaign and by positioning ourselves as a social enterprise that communities would want to get into association with us. Research is our backbone, thus research will be an ongoing activity to help better our products. As we said, we are running pilots right now. Once our first and second pilots complete their first year of operation, we will do quality assurance and feedback gathering with an aim to determine if an Indigenous community can self-sustain this product. We will start developing final agreements with consulting partners at the same time. Intent is to partner with multiple consulting firms all over Canada to help bring this product to regions across Canada. Once these are confirmed, we will begin manufacturing the first set of passive membrane systems for subsequent rollout in coming quarters. Hult Prize Challenge is a beacon of hope for us. The $1 million award would prove to be a catalyst as we roll out this product. It would be an honor beyond comparison for us to represent UBC in the regional finals in San Francisco. We shall be grateful if the esteemed judges select us to represent UBC at the regional finals. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.